Welcome to the Readers Association. Let's indulge on all the books you read, the ones you are still going to read, and the ones you wish you read. See you on the next one. Honestly, if you don't know who Nicolette Mashile, the financial bunny, is, it's between two things. Either you live under a rock or you're probably struggling with your finances, ne? I'm sure you are going down. But thankfully for you, she has a book on finances named What's Your Move? And I'm here to tell you all about it. A bit of background on Nicolette. She's the founder of the Financial Bunny, and she's a champion of personal finance education. And in the book, What's Your Move? She shares stories from her own life and journey with money in order to redefine personal finance management. Also, she challenges you, yes, you, the reader, to make a move that will be financially rewarding. A promise to yourself that you are more than capable of managing your money. So Nicolette is on different social media platforms. She's also here on YouTube, and you should definitely check her out. The book has got 17 chapters and goes through the common topics, on finances. They always say that the rules of money do not change. So what I'm not going to do is to tell you all about the 17 chapters because, child, you need to get the book and get the juice yourself. However, what I'm going to do is to tell you all about the topic or the lessons that really, really fascinated me in the book. Then at the end, I will give you my honest review of whether I think you should or shouldn't buy the book. So let's get into it. First one up is savings. Uyakhumbula uthi utawubeka 500 ngenyanga when 22 started. Iphi manje? Angili, ngiyabuda. In fact, comment down below and let me know, how is that savings challenge going? On my end, embarrassing, honey. Embarrassing. Embarrassing. So, Nicolette, on the topic of savings, she takes you through the rules of money that has been shared across generations, emphasized on different books, and you can get those on page 26 if I'm not mistaken. And you probably know them. You know them. The live below your means, increase your number of income streams, avoid greed and instant gratification, my spillion, don't increase your expenditure, avoid lifestyle inflation, my spillion again, it's not what you make but how much you keep, protect your wealth. And my favorite of these money rules is that one that says you are your biggest asset. So she takes you through some of her saving strategies, and let's just get into that quickly. Number one, she says attach a goal to your savings, because when you have a goal, you'll be motivated to save. So don't save just because people are saving. Don't save for the sake of savings. On top of that, you cannot be hopping on a savings challenge just because your favorite influencer or your favorite celebrity is on this savings challenge if you do not have a goal. So if you are saving and there's no goal for it, you might as well just rest. You might as well just rest. So because if you have a goal, that will encourage purposeful decision making, and your financial goal will be a blueprint of how you live your life. And it will become a lot easier to make good financial decisions. Because when you don't have a plan for savings, anything goes, Anything goes. So you need to attach a goal to your savings. And your goal must be SMART. Now, this is where the T is. Your goal must be SMART. SMART being an acronym for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. And Nicolette gets into details of how a SMART goal looks like in her book. And another thing that she speaks about is saving out of mind, out of sight. Set up a stop order on your account so you can pay yourself first and automate it. These financial institutions have made it so much easier, so much easier for us to save. So set up that stop order and save on a different account, because child, don't be like me. Don't be like this girl who will be transferring between the accounts just because it's in one, bank. You can just save with a different bank altogether. Then she speaks of Mjolo account. Now, I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence about this one. Let me know what you think. I have trust issues with doing things with men. So, what are your thoughts on Umjolo account? I'm really on the fence, with this one. Another saving strategy that she speaks about is also instant gratification, my spillion. The mother of all brokenness, honey. Most of us are in debt because we deserve, this. We worked hard. This is my money. This bag is screaming my name. This shoe is calling me. But you know what? My favorite line when I'm about to give in to instant gratification is imali vele incane. In fact, I can't blame myself because well, it's not like I'm a million and stuff. And girl, that's when I know I'm going down. That's when I know I am going down, because instant gratification is just the mother of all brokenness, honey. It's really the mother of all brokenness. And once I say things like, it's not like I'm a million and stuff, I'm about to be umswapeni. So let me know, which phrases do you use when you're given into instant gratification? I think this requires a lot of discipline, really. It requires a lot of training and discipline. And again, it ties in with having a goal to your savings, because if you have a goal attached to your savings, you will not be giving into instant gratification, because you know that your financial decisions are driven by a certain purpose. There's something that you want to achieve, So goals are important. Attach a goal. It could be you just want to do your license, you want to buy a new phone, you want to build your mom a house. As long as there's a goal attached to it, I think it will make it easier for you to stay motivated on the cause, and it will also encourage purposeful spending, not just, and of course goals can be similar. Your goal can be similar to my goal, but you cannot compare your goals to those of others. When they say comparison is the thief of joy, personally, I think comparing yourself to other people is just a human thing, but I think it's important to be self-aware of how much you do it, or to what extent you actually do it. So I don't think you should, crucify yourself for comparing yourself to other humans, but you should just be self-aware of how much are you doing it, to what extent are you doing it, and most importantly, just pace yourself, girl. Pace yourself. You really cannot be comparing and now trying to do things just because Umang Mang is doing it. You must really try and pace yourself. She also speaks of tracking your spending. I think this is important because it's the foundation of budgeting and creating a plan, that will work. You will be so shocked at how much you've spent on those small transactions. I once did this with my bank statement, and honey, gooby. So really do go through your spending, because then this will give you a view of how much you're spending, on what are you spending, and it will motivate you to make changes on what you are spending on, and you'll be able to reallocate your money accordingly. So I think this is a very, very important exercise. It's very daunting, because it's like you are judging yourself and it hurts, but it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it because the mistakes that you did this month, you will never do them the next month, and now you will know where is your money going. So I think this is also good. And another thing that might deter you from tracking your spending is always withdrawing cash, because if you help you, she has an example of a spending plan, just an example of how it can look like on page 64. So definitely check that out. Then she moves on to income streams. Of course, who doesn't want income? And she touches on the 7 R's, which is remuneration, rate, rent, rights, royalties, replication, and returns. And you can read all about them on when you get the book yourself. But I want to touch on remuneration because corporate has such bad PR. I don't know why. I don't know why corporate has such bad PR. Because you hear people saying, yeah, you are building somebody's empire. Hey, boo. Hey, guys, hey, boo. And I really, really resonate with her views so much on remunerations, because she says, I'm just going to read directly from the book, working for someone simply means that you are creating an income for yourself by doing something that you'll be remunerated for. I'll repeat that for the ones at the back. Working for someone simply means that you are creating an income for yourself by doing something that you will be remunerated for. So, yes, you might be contributing and building their empire, but ma'am, sir, you are literally getting paid for doing a job, which is exactly how it should be. So I really don't understand why corporate has such bad PR, because this is an income stream for you. You are literally getting money from it. It's not like you are building somebody, you are helping somebody build their empire for free. You are not. I think the only question that you should be asking yourself is, how much of the time are you spending at this job are you not being remunerated for? And I'm just going to leave it at that. Credit scores is also another thing that she spoke about in the book. And you know what? If you don't know what a credit score is, nyasaba, nyaksabela. Please go buy this book. She also touched on different investment vehicles that you can use. Those are your stocks, your unit trusts, commodities, mutual funds, your bonds, your forex, your properties, and the steps that you need to take if you are going to be buying a property. But thank you, Nicolette. And on page 199, I think, she goes through all those she goes through all her own investing rules that I think are very, very valuable, and you can really learn from them. My favorite topic, though, in this book is her stories with Kiriboni. If you're wondering who Kiriboni is, it was her car that was passed down to her, and she named it Kiriboni because that car saw it all, hey? And on her lessons regarding cars and owning cars, one of them is that there's no need to buy an unnecessarily expensive car. The car is not even the problem, but our ego is the problem. Ma'am, you got my attention there. And her tips, she says, since a car is a depreciating asset, it's important to buy an affordable car that will not compromise your living expenses or disable you from investing. And I really, really liked the slide. It's important to buy a car that is affordable, that will not compromise your living expenses or disable you from investing. So I think this is a good tip. She also mentions that put down a deposit so that you can borrow less from a bank. I, for one, I don't know so much about cars, except that they're expensive. And in fact, I have a fear of owning a car. But let's be honest, buying a car is a flex, okay? It's a flex. And most times we view owning a car, a certain type of car, as being in a certain salary bracket. We measure a person's financial standing based on the car that they drive. We shouldn't really, but come on now. We do it, you do it, please, you do it, I also do it. We shouldn't, but someone driving an Uno and a Mercedes cannot be viewed with the same eye. No offense, really, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I don't know why we do that. She also speaks of a balloon payment, which I think is very important, because this is exactly where the danger is. And if you are not well informed regarding what a balloon payment is and how it works, you will go down, my friend. You will go down, not even ground floor, basement, Mdagabao. That's where you're going, basement. So I think it's important to be knowledgeable when it comes to what a balloon payment is, so that you make an informed decisions. She also speaks of an emergency fund. Because with this one, I cannot seem to get it. Because here is why an emergency fund is important, and I really, really do understand it. In the book, she says financial stability is more than earning a high salary. It's resilience, when shocks come, or you get unexpected expenses, and knowing that you have some reserves for those rainy days is really what an emergency fund is all about. So how do you go about it? Remember that an emergency fund is not your savings, okay? The savings that we spoke about being attached to your goal. This is more of an insurance that you make for yourself. And it's an account that will have maybe 3 to 6 months of equivalent of your monthly expenses saved up in an inflation beating account. I think this is the thing about emergency funds. That money, wherever you are saving that money, it must beat inflation. So in your budget, you can allocate a certain percentage that will go to that account, save in a separate account if you are not as disciplined as myself, and automate, then adjust your living expenses. So I didn't want this video to be long, but it seems we're just gonna go on. My second, last favorite topic is black tax. Especially as firstborn. If you are a firstborn, you know what I'm talking about. You know the case of being a firstborn. Even if you have a very understanding family like myself, Nicolette Mashile, she's not a firstborn. However, on this topic, she narrates that there was a point where she found herself responsible for her younger sister. I think she's the last one. And she said that her older sister, who also helped her when she was down and out, said to her, and I quote, "Maybe God gave you so much so that you can look after our younger sibling," citing the words, "To whom much is given, much is required." So I know that black tax is something that a lot of people can relate to. And sometimes no one is expecting something from you. In the case of my family, but honestly, you just genuinely want to help. Even though there aren't any expectations. I don't know if you create the expectations yourself, but you just want to help. Genuinely, you just want to help. And sometimes you overextend yourself. There's such a thin line. You now overextend yourself just because you genuinely just want to help. So Nicolette says that there are 3 ways we can look at black tax. We can look at it as an investment. For example, paying your siblings' fees in varsity is an investment, because you are investing in them, and later in life they can be something else, and they can uplift the family. Also, they can contribute, in fact, in the family finances. Number 2, she says we can look at it as giving. This is because you are an adult, you have a well-functioning brain, you can identify a hopeless situation and you can assist. And she makes an example here with her uncle. You will read all about that in the book. And the third way of, viewing black tax is paying out of guilt, which to me is stupid. You probably shouldn't do that. So, but you know where the danger is when it comes to black tax? It's the entitlement and boundaries or lack of boundaries. So this it can go there very quickly. It will start off as, a good thing, and then swiftly it can easily become an entitlement and, a lack of boundaries. People can now feel entitled to your finances. So I think be firm enough to say, no, I can't afford that. Just say, no, I cannot afford that. Don't be, under financial strain because of black tax. And I think, one tip that she gives us on this book is communicate to avoid resentment. And those that really, really care about you, they will listen, they will hear what you're saying, and they will act accordingly. So that's the story on black tax. And lastly, we're going to talk about dating and marrying in your lane. She speaks a lot on love and money. At some point she mentioned that she borrowed a man 250,000. May the Lord save me. May the Lord save me from the shackles of doing this, because I know I'm kind of capable. So I will leave you to read all about this in the book. But what I'm going to tell you about is something she calls productive expenditure. So this is also called rainmaking expenses, where you spend money to kind of make more money. Like, furthering your studies or learning a new skill so that you add value to yourself and you can now make more money. So it's spending, but it's productive spending. Now wait for it. According to this book, how Nicolette says, how about we consider lobola as a productive expense? Come here. How about we look at lobola as a productive expense? How about a man sees lobola not as an expense or a reckless expense, but as capital outlay, as one of the most productive ways to spend his money? How about we do that? Now, this had my attention. And you know what? I agree with this view. I genuinely agree with this view that we should stop viewing lobola as a bad thing. Let's view it as a productive spending. You are investing in this person to make more. That's how easy it is. So umbuto ke umile uti what's your move? And come on now, if you have listened this far, thank you. But please like, comment, and subscribe. And so these are all this is probably 2 or 3% of what is actually in the book. So you will get more if you read the book yourself. I'm sure you can get it on Take-A-Lot, on Bag and Books, and all the stores that sell books. Now, my review on the book is, I like the cover of the book. I think it's cute. I like that. I like the title also. And if you are used to Nicolette, if you know Nicolette and you've listened to her videos, you will literally read this book in her voice. I like the fact that she doesn't use, any extreme or complicated finance jargon. So, and what I also loved is she teaches you, or she gives you the lessons through her stories. She tells you, this is what I did, this is what happened, and now that I know better, this is what I think I should have done, or this is what I would advise or recommend, or this is the lesson that I took out of it. So I think that's good. Her stories are very relatable, very, very relatable. I think 90% of the things that she mentions in this book is things that we, ordinary people go through or have encountered. So it's very relatable. You will not get bored, because with financial books, you get bored because the language is very complicated, and if you are like me, you don't know anything about finances, it just becomes a bore. But with this book, it's more like a person just telling their stories. It's a compilation of different stories throughout her financial journey. So it's very, very relatable, and it's easy to read, easy to understand. You can literally get what she's saying. And I like that she wrote this in her voice. If you have followed Nicolette, as I mentioned, you will read this in her voice. And I think that's amazing. Do I recommend that you buy the book? Definitely. Definitely, I do recommend. There's lots of information there. Even if you have followed Nicolette like myself for over the years, I think the book is a great thing. Well, I love a good book. I love a good book. I love the smell and the touch of a book. I love that I can always go back and refer, So I think it's a good investment. It's a great investment, because you can always go back to it. And unlike, the YouTube videos, this is like a compilation of everything she normally talks about. So I think that's it's a good buy. Definitely do that. I don't know how much the book retails for, but a book is never expensive. Okay, a book is never expensive. So yeah, get the book, and maybe you might find your move. Maybe you might find your move. Thank you so much. Let's meet on the next one.